And we're live.
Oh, that's it. What is going on, people? Welcome to the Slightly Good podcast. We are a group of mates who are starting on a little adventure, let's call it. We are bringing you clips, podcasts such as this, and more stuff to come in the future. But it's in the early days at the moment, so watch this space. But as I said, we are a group of mates who are doing this. So who we started SGG, Slightly Good Gamers. So let's go around and introduce ourselves. I am Jamie. I am hosting this here podcast. I've got a little bit of YouTube presence and Twitch presence already, just on the side. But, just love playing games. Love playing games with my mates. Exactly. Get it in early. But let's go around and introduce ourselves. So the first person we will introduce is Luke.
Hi guys. My name's Luke. Fuck you. Gamer tag, yes, you would.
Proper late reaction.
Happy to obviously answer any questions if anyone wants to contact me on social media and stuff. But video clips, gaming, Twitch streams and everything. Yeah, I'm doing by myself and obviously with the guys here.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that, Luke. Let's go and meet Dan next.
Hello.
Hi, Dan. That very much felt like an AA meeting, introduction.
Yes, my name is Dan and I'm addicted to games.
Excellent, short and sweet. We'd love to hear it. And last but not least, we have Dale.
Yo, I'm miserable, and that's about all I can offer.
Excellent. Well,
He's not
glad to have you on board by the sounds
boy.
of it. This is the third podcast that we have ever done. We'll, it's going to be rough, but we'll get there eventually. But it's all going to be gaming focused, of course. But the main thing that we wanted to talk about this week, as we record this, it is the 15th of June, so it's all fairly topical. We wanted to talk about the PS5. Now, of course, big news in the game. Save opinions for in a minute.
Sorry.
But yeah, the PS5 was revealed last Thursday in I think they did a sort of big live stream, didn't they? If I'm not wrong, showcasing initially loads of different games that were coming out, and then they left it till last. But yeah, the PS5 is on its way. The next gen is coming. Firstly, what do we all think of the design? Because I know it's been.
Can I go first?
It's been yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to put this out. It looks like a Sky Router, and I hope that it doesn't perform as bad as a Sky Router.
Wow. Big shots to Sky. Hopefully they're not listening.
Shots
Hopefully
fired.
they are.
Sony, if you are listening, firstly, if you want to partner with us, that'd be great. Sponsorships welcome. Secondly, don't sue us, please.
Yeah, please don't, because I ain't got a pot to piss in, so
Not all of us think it looks that bad.
No, I don't like it. I think it's a bit weird looking. But then again, you've either got the futuristic, like Dale said, the router, or you've got a box. So there's not a lot of scope, is there? Really, there's not a lot of difference.
A box with more processing power, though, Dan.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a really fancy box.
That costs the same amount of money.
Yeah,
We don't know yet, do we? Don't know prices.
Well, I think they're both.
We don't know the
10
price for
500,
definite.
aren't they? Or that's the rumoured RRP on both.
I saw when I was researching earlier. I saw one thing that said that compared it to its likeness to an elf's ears off Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
What? So it looks like me?
Cool.
No,
you're a dwarf.
Whatever Gimli is, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
dwarf.
Decent.
So what do we think in terms of what it looks like compared to the Xbox Series X? Now, I mean, I'll go first. I don't like the look of the Xbox Series X. I don't really, I think the PS5 looks better personally. Just gonna throw it out there.
No, so I don't think the Xbox doesn't really look much different to what it does at the moment. Just a different shape. The Xbox at the moment is a box.
Yeah, but this box is upright this time.
Yeah, well,
yeah, and I prefer.
You can lay it down.
Honestly,
Sony confirmed
having a
you
gaming
can lay it
console
down.
and a doorstop, amazing.
What more could you want?
Yeah, but with PS5, sorry, you've got a multi-purpose thing there as well. Something to hit. If someone annoys you, can hit them with it, or throw it in the bin.
Got some sharp edges.
I should put this out there now. We all are Xbox gamers. So if you can detect any bias, then that might be why. But yeah, so that's probably why the opinions are a bit more negative.
I just want to start a hashtag here. Hashtag bring back GameCube.
Well, that connection was beautiful.
Oh my.
Bring back GameCube. But yeah, Dale touched on the price. He said retailing at about $500. From what I could see, it's reported to be between $470 and $500. The 470 is about £376, give or take.
Which can I
is
just
that too
add on
expensive?
that?
Is
Can I
that a
just
good
add on
price?
that? As a
No,
person
that's
who went
fine.
out and bought Xbox One X for £500, this console needs to be better than that, because I'll tell you what, the Xbox One X is crap considering the price I paid for it.
Oh. But you got thinking
Just saying.
comparisons to a PC now, because you've got
Yeah,
the
but mate,
highest end specs for 700 quid. We discussed this.
Mate.
Yeah, that we're not going to go into that discussion because that discussion was bullshit.
What? No,
Yeah, it was.
How? Explain yourself.
I don't want to explain that because I'll just get told that I don't know
okay.
what I'm talking about.
Which
No,
is
the
usually
Xbox One
true.
X. You're funny. I almost smiled then for the first time in 6 months. What was I saying before I got really distracted? Xbox One X, yeah, it is crap. In comparison to what I paid for it, it does nothing realistically different to a normal Xbox. At all.
You can play in 4K.
Yeah, apart from the fact I had to go and buy a brand new £500 TV to go with it, to get a tiny little bit of graphical enhancement. It doesn't do anything when I'm playing with other people. Because if I'm say for instance I'm with you and Luke playing Call of Duty and I'm in Luke's lobby, I don't load in any quicker than anyone else, like it says I should.
Processing time. I know.
Yeah, the processing time going from games to home screen and through parties and all of that stuff. Yeah, brilliant. But realistically, is that really going to worry me too much if I can't do that and I can do it 4 seconds quicker? Probably not.
Jason Derulo.
The microphone is beyond terrible.
Apologies.
Oh well, we'll probably sort that out afterwards.
You're going to need to sort your stuff out, Freeman.
But yeah, no, I think pricing, if they're around £470, £500 mark, then I think that's a good point for those the obviously next gen consoles to be.
Remember, that is in dollars as well, so in pounds it will be about 400 quid.
Yeah.
I would pay £700. I'll put it out
Wow.
there. Just chuck it out there.
I wouldn't.
Letting it
personally.
marinate. Yeah, I pay that because you got like the top end specs for this, so it's better than every PC most PCs that are going to be out there.
I'm telling you, I'm going to say it. If it comes out at £700 and the PlayStation is £450, I'll buy the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's a bit of a no-brainer.
I said it.
Well, can't take it back now. It's out there. It's on the internet.
It's in the ether.
It'll come out on the 26th of November or whenever it's scheduled to come out, and I'll probably go and buy it for £750 now, knowing me.
Well, there is one thing on price as well. So in the release, they talked about 2 different versions of the PS5, which I didn't even know. They are releasing one that has no disc tray, so it will be completely digital.
Yeah.
And apparently the discless version could be cheaper by as much as $100.
I'm there.
Cool.
I don't think I've bought a disc in probably 2 years.
See, I still buy discs.
Yeah,
I
some
very
people like
rarely
the
buy a game
collections.
digitally.
Do you have a collection going on? You like the look of your collection?
Not really. It's just normally it's cheaper to buy it physically.
See, yeah, you say that though, Jamie, but actually, as me and Luke have realised and figured out, that if you game share, which you're not supposed to, so sorry, it becomes a lot cheaper. You can go out and buy a disc on release for 60 quid. I can buy it online for 70 quid, but I can share it with Luke. It's £35 each.
Yeah, but what if you haven't got a friend to game share with?
True.
Yeah, what about
then I suggest that you go out and you maybe make some friends, because that's quite a lonely, sad existence.
Wow. Thanks.
I'm figuring that you're one of those people that didn't have a friend to share with.
Says the one that's girlfriend's banned him from playing Xbox.
No, mum. Not girlfriend.
Girlfriend's
Oh,
mum.
because that's better.
That's potentially worse.
Look, let's not go down that route.
That's
I don't
the
want
way
to
to
talk
go.
about it. It's still sore, and yeah, let's
I
not.
bet you are. She is relentless, your mum.
Not my mum.
Oh.
Just want to confirm Alison is a lovely lady.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for that. Thanks for putting that on there. Yeah, dick.
So,
So's your
So,
mum. She texts me every time I come round. So yeah, you want to keep your mouth shut.
excellent.
What are you doing?
So the version without a disk drive is already drawing comparisons with the Google Stadia. Now, I haven't seen a lot about Google Stadia, and that probably speaks volumes, in honest.
I think there's one person who could tell you about that, Luke.
Yeah, so to be honest, like, it's a good concept. Like, it removes any hardware that you need, as in a console. You don't have to buy one, obviously, every single time they make a new one. They just Google have to upgrade their servers, and that's all it is, really. But literally, you can be sat wherever you are with an internet connection, and you can be playing like Assassin's Creed on like your phone or a laptop.
You can play it on your phone and that.
Yeah, use your phone as a screen.
That is pretty sick.
It's pretty mad.
It is decent.
How much is
you
it?
sat there. I got mine for like 90 quid, and I could play 4K
Is that it?
games. Yeah.
You can play a
Oh, that's
4K
decent.
game on your phone.
Well, obviously, it will be limited to your phone's screen, how high quality the screen is and what your internet connection is. But
Yeah.
if you had good Wi-Fi and you had a screen which is 4K, yeah, you can be playing 4K games just wirelessly.
See, like,
That's
because
decent.
well, I heard about it when it was first coming out, and then I just heard it was Netflix for games almost. You've got like a library that's down there,
Basically.
it's just there, and you can just play it anytime, anywhere. But I'm not going. What have they done with it though? Because I haven't heard much of it since. But obviously,
I
that
think
sounds
they-
pretty good.
Yeah, so they've got all the hardware, as is Google. They've got all the service ready. It's just trying to get the licenses for the games, I think.
Of course.
They didn't prepare themselves. They've got Ubisoft on board with Assassin's Creed
Right.
and stuff. I don't know what
I mean,
else they're obviously trying to venture into other things, but I think they might be
I
making
can
their
only
own
imagine.
studio.
Yeah, I can only imagine that they probably struggled with the likes of like Activision and stuff, with obviously their licensing contracts with like Xbox or PlayStation, and the like. Trying to overthrow those, you'll have to throw millions and millions of pounds into it to try and make it work, and then if it flops, you've lost a lot of money.
Excellent.
Did you get any of that?
You cut out at the end.
Yeah, but I definitely think it's the way. I have a
Didn't
feeling
he have a
gaming's
lot
gonna be
of problems to start with, though?
going. Not that I know of. I didn't get it from right at the beginning, so there may have been, but it's just I think they've just struggled with games, really releasing games that constantly, or the ones that are brand new. They're just a bit
To
behind.
your own studio, isn't it?
I
Definitely.
don't. I don't also remember it
The
actually
name
being
as big as
marketed
Google.
properly. I never really heard too much about it.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
couple
whenever I
of
watch
YouTube
YouTube
ads.
video now, yeah, literally, whenever I watch YouTube videos now, all the ads are either Pizza Hut or Google Stadia. Now, I don't know if these are personalised ads, because that is very accurate. That would be fairly accurate marketing. But yeah, so...
Where are you
yeah,
seeing
what
these? Where are you seeing these adverts? Is it on YouTube?
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
if you
so-
watch a YouTube video, like the ads that pop up.
Yeah. So Google were able to do that because obviously they own YouTube.
So it is personalised ads.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Wow.
Yeah, it is personalised because I had one for Bovis Homes the other day. I was like, I've never seen this on Google.
Fair
On
enough.
YouTube, sorry.
So we touched base on the specs of it briefly earlier as well. So when I was looking at earlier, I saw a sort of a performance comparison to the PS4. I couldn't find one at the moment for the Xbox Series X, but compared to the PS4, it is a hell of an upgrade. CPU and GPU is dramatically improved. It's got double the amount of memory, so the RAM. The hard drive is not quite double on a PS4 at the moment. It's 500 gig. On the PS5, it's going to be 825, and it's also going to be a solid state drive rather than a hard drive, which basically it's better performing.
Is the Xbox
but
not
not
SSD as well this time round, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah,
I think
the
it does.
Xbox is a
They
1
both do,
terabyte
yeah.
SSD, isn't it?
Yeah, I know the Xbox is going to be 1 terabyte, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
PlayStation's 865 or something, or 875.
825, I saw.
Oh, that's the one.
And
Got there
it's
eventually.
supposedly going to be capable of 8K as well.
What even is that?
Double
You can actually
4K.
like
isn't it?
taste the eyes. You look at someone's eyes.
Yeah,
Just
I still
insane.
think we're a while off of that.
Well,
Properly
I'm not
anyway.
gonna lie. I was waiting for Gamer. You know the film Gamer with big man. What's his face? Gerard Butler.
Big man Gerard Butler.
I mean, how have we gone from
I think
talking
so.
about hardware and stuff on a PlayStation
Well,
compared to an Xbox to
it's
the
'cause it's-
Gamer, the
it-
film?
Because 8K, it's a big step up. There's going to be some crazy graphics about, obviously. But when are we at that stage?
I mean,
Who
is
knows?
there even many TVs that are out there that are capable of running 8K anyway, without costing you 17,
think so.
18, 1900 £1,900?
No.
Oh,
No,
probably not.
definitely
No.
No, there would be.
So
I
what
thought
would
you
you-
were just.
This is what I'm trying to get at here is at this point you've just told me it can run in 8K. To me, I'd be like, brilliant. I'm going to go out and buy a £500 console, and then get it home and realise that my TV at home is not capable of running 8K. Go out and spend £1,900. You might as well go and buy a £2,000 gaming PC.
Yeah, but you've got to think about it this way: it's future-proofed itself. So when 8K TVs do become affordable, you will have a console ready just to plug in and go.
Yeah, but you're not planning for the future. You want games now.
But the problem is, I
Want
just
it
feel like
now.
they're trying to sell something that's not necessarily affordable to the vast majority of people that are going to buy it.
Well,
I
yeah,
get
you
that
don't
they're
have to
future-proofing
play in
it.
8K.
I get that.
No, it just has the capabilities.
I mean, I suppose it might have the same effect as what the Xbox One X had, where I was expecting to have to pay like £1,000 plus for a TV that can run 4K, and I looked on the internet and they're at like 400 quid. It wasn't actually that bad.
I suppose technology moves so quick that 8K TVs will be the norm soon, I imagine. There's me sound like an
Yeah.
old man.
Except the one that still buys discs.
It's cheaper, mate. But yeah, Dale, you touched on briefly earlier about the Xbox Series X release date. PS5, well, Sony haven't confirmed a specific date, but it's going to be in the last quarter of 2020 in time for the holiday season. We know
don't
that
think
much.
Xbox have set an actual release date either. From what I've seen, it's an estimated release date of the 26th of November.
Yeah, which
But
would
I
make
could well
sense,
be wrong.
obviously, because like in time for Christmas and all that.
I
But
think that's the
that
problem
is
that they're
the
gonna have.
expectation.
Sorry, I think the problem that they're going to have is that they need to make sure that they release it at the right time, because I feel like what they did with the Xbox One X, where obviously it was such a long time between the original Xbox One, then you obviously got, what was the other one, the Xbox One S, was it? That little white
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's like the
There was like
streamlined
I think
version.
it was like a 6-month gap between that and the Xbox One X coming out. And if I remember correctly, the Xbox One X came out literally just after Christmas, didn't it? I think it was like January or February. And I think their sales were so small because no one could obviously afford it just after Christmas and stuff. Obviously, family and
Yeah.
buying things.
I think
it fell on
as
its
this is
place.
like I think as this is next gen, I think they won't make that mistake again.
I would hope.
This would definitely
a
be
mate
out.
of mine commented saying that it was they marketed it wrong. They called it a family console for the families, and PS4 were for the gamers. That was their slogan, so that's why they kind of took a dive.
Yeah,
generation.
was it, with Xbox, they obviously had it shipped with that Connect as well, didn't they? You had to buy it with the Connect, so it put the price up of it. But
I
then
can't remember last time I used Connect on my Xbox.
I used Connect once and then never used it again. It
I
never
don't
even
think it's
got
even.
plugged in.
I don't think it's even supported anymore. I don't think it even works. I've got it still, but I don't think it even
But
works on my Xbox.
I have to admit, the one thing that I struggle with an Xbox is the fact that you can't do things like virtual reality, like when PS4,
Yeah.
see, with the virtual reality headsets and stuff.
It's stepped up.
It's really irritating that you can't do that on Xbox, but then equally, on the other hand, you've got Xbox who are claiming for yet another generation of console that it's even more powerful than the PlayStation, which that, to me, well, it sells it to me hand over fist over a PlayStation.
What, purely because it's more powerful?
Well, I reckon
they could sell the PlayStation 5 for 500 quid with really good virtual reality. The Xbox comes out without virtual reality, but comes with a better processing power and better graphics. I'm buying the Xbox all day long.
But is that just because you've already got an Xbox?
No, I think that's purely down to the fact that I'd prefer a games console that can actually hack it and gives me the best graphics that you can possibly get. Whereas the PlayStation can't do that because they, yet again, for another generation, they're not the most powerful console.
But then, you know, when it comes down to figures, PS4 absolutely, absolutely smashed the Xbox One. Sold over double the amount of units.
You've also got to remember that PlayStation have also been around a lot longer than Xbox.
Yeah, I get that. And
So
I get
a lot
Elite.
of their user base have only ever known PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, then probably moved straight into PlayStation 3. It's only a small, realistically, a small finite amount of those people have actually picked up the original Xbox after the PlayStation 2 was already out, I think, for about 6 or 7 months, and actually gone and played it and then gone down the Xbox route like myself.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I used to have a PS1 and a PS2, and then I had the PS2 for a few years, and God, I mean, I absolutely love that console. Some of the games literally were brilliant, but it got to the point where I wanted a new console. I'd sort of had my PS2 for a number of years, and the PS3 was still nowhere in sight, and the Xbox 360 had come out. And a load of my mates, especially at school, had got 360s and everything. And that was it. I was just like, well, you know, I've got no problems converting. I'd already played a 360, like I said, at a few friends' houses and stuff. So that wasn't a problem. So it's just like, yeah, let's go, let's do it.
See, for
and
me,
my
my journey on that was completely different. Actually, I had the PS2. I also had the original Xbox as well when I was little because my dad bought it for himself, and I fell in love with Halo. And actually, the one thing that turned it for me was the size of the controller.
Yeah,
All I'd
much
ever known
prefer
was
an
a
Xbox
PlayStation.
controller.
As soon as I picked up that bulky, hench, black controller that came with the original Xbox, I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. And I just fell in love with it from then on. It's really, really weird that I then bought a console for the next 10, 15 years of my life just based off of a controller size.
Size does matter.
You say
Exactly.
that they're actually decreasing the size of the Xbox controller.
I know they are. Which I'm not sure
How
I
do
like.
you feel? No.
Revolution.
But
Although
as long as it's bigger than the PlayStation controller, I'm happy.
Can't you use
So you're
current
amount of
Xbox controllers with the new Xbox?
Only the Elite.
Yeah. No, I think you can.
Oh,
They've
can you
got the
use-
same. Yeah. So they've like
They
used
weren't gonna
a
do that
standard.
originally.
No, they've used like a standard connection between all controllers now.
I was going to say, because they were only going to sell it with the Elite controller, weren't they? Which is like £85 a pop, if not more.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
just bought a new one for my Xbox One, and that was a basic one, and that was 55 quid.
They're still
Yeah, it's
mental
extortionate.
prices. All
Yeah.
accessories are just.
Can we
ridiculous.
just also talk as well about the fact that Xbox still haven't released an actual Xbox original wireless headset
Yeah, I don't
during
get
all
that.
of this?
Yeah. Why do we
Because
still use batteries as well? What's that? What's that about?
you tell me, mate.
Why are we at that stage still?
I know PS5 sort of announced a few accessories as well. I didn't look into it that much, but I know they've announced like a headset, a new controller, all sorts. So,
I mean, to be fair, I'm not complaining about a wireless headset because actually being forced into moving away from the crappy standard Xbox wired headsets you used to get, and I've veered down the route of Turtle Beaches that cost me like 85 quid have lasted me like 4 years. I'm not complaining at all.
yeah, how many of those like crappy standard Xbox mics did you go through?
Mate, I went through about 6 in a year.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
And they're at 15 quid a pop. So when you think about that, that's a lot of money you're spending on crappy bit of plastic with a bit of wiring that goes into your Xbox controller and breaks after a month. Stand
What I
on
didn't
it and it
understand.
literally crumbles.
Yeah, what I didn't understand is if you didn't stand on it or anything, they just still broke.
I think it's just the way they were made. They're so badly made, the wiring and stuff inside the actual headset.
I remember I had one and I snapped it because I sat on it.
Good lad. So you're sitting on controllers and snapping it. Pizza Hut on YouTube. It's not going well, is it, mate?
I'm a typical gamer.
Love it.
Fat, overweight, seriously unfit.
Yeah, so am I, mate. Still being bossed around by the mum.
So let's talk about PS5 exclusives that they announced along with it. So I've got a list of a few here. So they announced, I think probably the biggest one to come out of it was the new Spider-Man game. That's the one I've seen the most hype around.
So sick.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the Spider-Man from one of the films. It's not Far From Home. That's still Tom Holland. Is it the Spider-Verse? Yeah. So it's, that was the one I've seen most around. Although I never played it either. Was the original, like not the original, the Spider-Man game that got released recently-ish? Is that a PS4 exclusive?
Yeah, PS4 exclusive.
Yeah.
I think all the Spider-Mans are PlayStation exclusives. I think even going back to Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, which I had on PS1 and PS2.
It goes back to Sony buying Spider-Man, which is why that they have the exclusivity of it.
So that's
these games are insane.
Yeah, I've the most recent Spider-Man. I only heard good things. It seemed like a really good game.
Have you played the VR?
No.
Oh mate, I had a chance to play that. It's awesome. But it almost fell flat on my fucking face though when you jump off them houses.
Not advisable.
I've got an interesting thing for you.
It's not
in a bit,
nothing to do with VR. It's don't do drugs, kids.
So other exclusives that were announced: Horizon Forbidden West, which is a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. Anyone had any experience with the Horizon series?
Never even heard of it.
Didn't like it. You're that gingerbread for like you fight future robots.
Yeah,
and that.
it's like a tribal sort of game. You're fighting these electric machines with bows and arrows. And
brilliant.
It's futuristic, but it's tribal. You know, it's a mixture of both.
Sounds crap.
Stupid.
Sounds shit.
Interesting.
I don't like it, but
it looks good. In my opinion.
That's coming. Gran Turismo 7, of course. Gran Turismo, a staple of the PlayStation exclusives.
Played it once, never play it again after experience Forza.
Yeah, and one that Luke wanted me to mention. I wasn't going to mention it, but he absolutely loves it. So they're bringing out a new Ratchet and Clank.
Yes, Ratchet and Clank is the best game that's ever been released on PlayStation. Hands down.
So
don't
good.
ever speak about it again. Ratchet and Clank is sick.
No,
Mate,
how can
don't
you
even
say
get there.
such rubbish?
Don't even go there.
Last of Us, boy. God of War. Spider-Man.
Nah.
The amount of
Them
time.
three,
Ratchet
start.
Clank, boy.
No.
Oh,
Right.
mate.
There's two games that go down in history on PlayStation for me, right? PlayStation 2, back in the day, GTA 3, which was an aerial view 2D, was sick. Yeah? And Ratchet and Clank. They were the two games I played.
Yeah, it's an
hours
old
on
game. It don't make it the best game, though.
Yeah.
The PS4
Well,
the
Call of
PlayStation
Duty
ever
4 is
released.
an old game on Xbox 360. They brought it back and it got hyped up to high heaven. So I'm hyping up Ratchet and Clank. Fair play.
It's a good game, and you're making large claims. Large claims.
Sick. Luke's on this one with me.
grandest.
Yeah,
Luke's on
spent
this one
many of an hour on that game, or all of the series.
Many of a
and
day.
just love it.
I dread to see what my game time is on that game on PS2.
Cool.
Because I think I'd be
Mate, I'm not
horrified.
discounting it. I had it on PS2. Absolutely sick game, but not the best.
Luke, any more to say? You were the one that wanted me to include it.
No, but I'll just it's one of the best games I've ever played. Not gonna lie, best series.
Okay,
Jesus.
there we are. Well, one last thing I wanted to say about the PS5 before we talk about other things is backwards compatibility. Someone from I can't remember the guy's name, but someone from Sony confirmed that he phrased it really well as well. It's like the overwhelming majority of like PS4 games and stuff will be backwards compatible, but he didn't confirm that all of them will be.
I think
just the last some.
Yeah, does
I
that
think they need to because to bring it in line with Xbox, because I think Xbox have actually come out and said, I don't know whether this is actually official or not, but all Xbox One games are backwards compatible with the new Xbox. I could be wrong.
There's something. Oh, what's it? It's like smart delivery or something. There's something. Luke, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, smart delivery. I think if you buy an Xbox One game and has smart delivery on it, you will then have the chance of playing the Xbox Series X enhanced version, obviously without having to buy it. But then I don't know whether that is you can only play them on Xbox Series X, or whether you can actually play all backwards compatibility games as well.
Right,
just it won't be enhanced.
There we go. That is.
So there's still a possibility that you can play it, just not an enhanced version. So someone playing it on an Xbox One X or an Xbox One compared to Series X, there'll be graphical differences, but you can play it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get you. But yeah, that's everything that I have on the PS5. But talking of enhancement, Dale, leads me beautifully onto my next point.
Are we talking about breasts here?
Penis enhancement. Oh.
Excellent. No, it's something surrounding the PS5 release as well. GTA 5. They've announced they're going to do an enhanced version for next-gen consoles. Although, I only saw this surrounding the PS5 reveal, so I don't know what the Xbox are going to do. But mainly just on GTA 5 itself, the fact that it's lasted this long, it's gone through 3 generations of console.
Yeah, but but if you look back, GTA have always done that. It's never been a year-on-year game. It's always been like a 3 or 4 year cycle, and then they bring another one out.
Yeah,
just
but this has gone out. This has been out for a long time.
This come out on 360.
But then the problem that I have,
it's 10 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's roughly. It's give or take about 10 years.
The problem that I have with
insane.
GTA is the fact that 10 years on, there's still massive problems with it. There's still bugs. There's still issues getting getting online to play games with your friends. We've experienced it numerous times before. I know I haven't played it in about 6 months because it takes up too much space on my hard drive. I'm not sitting there slaving away downloading a 108 gig download for no point when I play it twice and then delete it again.
It has improved loading times, I believe.
For certain.
I was going to say the loading times were so long. Like
I picked it up again
literally
recently,
have a game
and
of Call of Duty in the time it takes to load the game.
I picked it up again recently, and it's still just as good as I remember. I mean, for me, GTA 4 was my favourite. I think GTA 5 is a better game, but GTA 4 was my favourite purely because of the amount of hours I spent on it and the things that we all did, just like that made it so enjoyable.
I'll tell you what would make
as
GTA...
a company, you can't really beat Rockstar.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
what other game stands 10 years, of just them filtering shit into obviously online, but it's still as good as it is now.
I know it's not.
It still makes money.
World
That's
of Warcraft, what's it called? Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. What's that one on PC? On the internet, little pixelated people. You run around like killing chickens and stuff, and picking up feathers and selling your stuff in the shop. RuneScape.
Oh, yeah.
I never played RuneScape, so I can't comment.
They've stood the test of time. RuneScape's been around for about 15, 20 years.
Mm.
World of Warcraft's been around for a good 15.
Yeah.
So they are there, and actually, realistically, when you think about it, they're probably better games than GTA because they have a lot more to them. Don't get me wrong, GTA has a lot.
That's a bold statement.
RuneScape. RuneScape.
Mate, RuneScape was sick. Don't diss RuneScape, yeah.
No, I'm not dissing it.
Otherwise, me and
So
Luke will legit
has
have to
more
come and
into
kill
it
you.
than GTA 5.
No, but I mean in terms of like not in terms of like graphics and all of that stuff and being able to go around and kill prostitutes and get like SWAT teams killing you and stuff. That's not what the game's about, is it? But
Can I just say
about
we here
chickens.
at SGG don't condone the killing of prostitutes. Just
We
want to
don't-
throw that.
We
Or
don't
chickens.
condone it.
Or chickens for that.
But
And prostitutes.
look, if I've got
Whoa.
2 tips from this whole podcast is don't be like Dan and do drugs,
What?
and B, don't kill prostitutes. There you go.
And seemingly
That's some
3
good
from
life
the amount
lessons.
you've ranted about it. Don't buy a PS5.
Oh yeah, but that goes without saying. I don't need to put a tip about that because I'm pretty sure that everyone who listens to this has sense in their brain and isn't going to do it.
Mate,
Okay,
I think
so
a lot
then-
of people are too far gone with in terms of their loyalty to the console.
Yeah,
Whoever
they're not
is,
gonna
you know,
change.
PlayStation strong, everyone's keeping. Because another thing is as well is the friends groups. You've got your people that you've got to jump on games with. No one's gonna want to change that. I don't want to go on PlayStation, be on my own, even though it's a better console. Or you think.
You say
Whoa.
that.
Well, we
You
wish
say
you did.
that. You say that. I think they're
Well.
going to be moving everything towards cross-platform, to be fair. And then that's just going to remove all this, I'm getting a
Well,
PlayStation because all my friends have got it.
Well, that's one thing we can talk about in a minute.
Which utterly infuriates me.
But I wanna pose this question to you all. Obviously, Dale's already shown his colours, but GTA 5 has been voted this. Do we think, with its success, how long it's gone on, the amount of people that still play it, the amount of money that it's made, is GTA 5 the greatest game of all time?
No.
No.
And
Yeah.
not from a personal. Oh well, I don't like GTA, so I think Ratchet and Clank's the greatest game of all time. From a sort of neutral
Yeah.
perspective, looking at all the facts, is GTA 5 the greatest game of all time?
Mate,
No.
it ticks all boxes though, innit? So you've got an in-depth storyline that is well written and, well made. Graphics are always on point and always keep up, and they stand even from Xbox 360 all the way up until next gen. I still rate those graphics now.
Right, and the reason
some
why
of the
I
games
don't
that come
think
out.
that it's the best
Multiplayer.
game of all time, just to counteract your argument there, Dan, is it's got no sort of like professional play to it at all whatsoever in any way, shape or form. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a fun game, but it doesn't necessarily hit and tick all of the boxes that a game needs to hit these days in terms of being able to make consistent money and have...
But it does make consistent money.
Yeah, okay, it makes
The only
consistent
thing it
money in
isn't
game
is
sales and in-game
competitive.
currency stuff, yes, but it's the competitive side of things, that's where gaming's going these days. That's
Okay, so what
the
you're
only
saying
downfall
then?
for me is the reason why I don't feel that game's necessarily the best game ever made. In
So
terms,
you're-
in terms of a single-player storyline, yes, I agree. It's the best game ever made.
So you're saying that the greatest game of all time has to have an esports element to it?
I think going forward, yes, and I think it's been like that for a number of years.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about going forward. I'm talking about now.
So yeah, I would say so.
There's-
Yeah,
There is a reason, yeah. You look at all of the IGN reviews, yearly reviews, and that. There's a reason why all of the single-player campaigns get up there, and that's why the other ones rarely do.
I think it's the most successful game of all time, in terms
I
of
reckon
like.
it's easily the best.
And
Just
I'm
looking
not-
at sales and what it includes. It's it's
And
an
I'm not
all-round
like
business
trying to
game.
shoot your argument down for him. And if you don't think it is, then that's fine. I'm just trying to like, from what you're saying, then ask these questions. If you don't think it is, then that's fine. But I just want to get you an understanding of what you're trying to say.
yeah. Like,
Um,
I think it comes. I think it's like multifaceted. That question. It's a case of because there's so many different strands to gaming these days. What
I
is
think
it
it's
that
a
you're-
it's a
what
very
is it that
subjective
you're-
question.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we-
It's almost like an opinion at that point. But if you were to say what's the best single player game that you've ever played, I'd say GTA 5 all day long. If you were to say what's the best online
Can
game
I-
you've ever played, I'd say something different.
Can I throw another
You gotta
game
look
in
at
there?
objective
Can I
and
throw another
subjective
game in
in
there?
Go on.
Pokemon.
Gotta-
Pokemon.
A single-player game in Pokemon. Would you not say that's
Yeah,
better
but-
than GTA 5?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
And the
No?
reason why I say that is because I feel like that is the most... Don't get me wrong, it was the funnest game when I was a kid. But once they just started just recycling generations of Pokemon, and it's just like got to the point where there's like 700 million Pokemon now, and I don't even know the names of half of them. It's just like... You
Yeah,
should have
if
stopped
we're
about
talking-
4 generations ago.
If we're talking about the first Pokemon games, like Red, Blue, Yellow, because obviously we're talking
You-
about one GTA here. not talking about
The
GTA 4.
originals, I think the original Pokemon's would certainly, give it a good run for its money. But it's when you see the fairly new ones, like Dale was saying, and then you see Pokemons that are literally like an ice cream cone with eyes on it.
It's ridiculous.
And stuff like that, and it's just
and
like,
you've got
okay,
you've got a flying honeycomb, and it's just like, you have scraped the bottom of the barrel for that one.
Luke, what's your opinion on GTA 5? You didn't really say anything.
So, yeah, I could see why a lot of people really like it, and I could see why it made so many sales when it was released. It's not my cup of tea of a game. I don't really think it has a lot of depth to it, in my opinion.
I think the online is to consistently play that game online. You have to have a lot of patience and a lot of imagination.
Yeah.
So I mean, just taking it back to the old days, right? When we used to all sit on Xbox and play GTA, we used to have to make up games to play it for hours on end, because otherwise we'd just get bored shitless. Like we'd end up going to the airport and going on those big old ramps on a runway, and 3 people be in attack helicopters trying to kill people, and the rest of you were in cars just trying to like go and do laps just to get away from him. It's just pointless. The single player was awesome, but when you get online, there's not much to it that's actually different. Apart from being able to play with mates.
That was one thing I was going to bring up. It was like it's a game that it is what you make of it. Obviously, Jamie, you know, but we one time we did like a Top Gear sort of test.
Yeah, that was good.
Where we would have a certain amount of money to buy a car, and then we would just do either races or just rallies, or just what car survives. Absolute battering until the end, which was good fun. But obviously you can only do that a certain amount of times.
Yeah, I think obviously all the like businesses that you can own and all that sort of stuff. I think that's a really good element to it and adds a lot of fun. But yeah, I just think for me, I don't know. I don't know if I could hold a game in that high prestige of the greatest game of all time, but I certainly think it's up there for definite.
I'm trying to think of any games that I think that would rival it, to be honest. But like I said, it depends on which way you're going to go with the question. Like, single player, nothing comes close.
Yeah.
But in terms of online gameplay, I think you've got a lot of options there. I think you could even argue Call of Duty 4, for instance, still has arguably a better online presence than what GTA does.
I doubt that very much.
I bet you've still got people playing that.
Yeah, I don't doubt that, but it's sheer numbers and everything.
Yeah, not sheer numbers, but I'm just talking in terms of like actual gameplay and like nostalgia and all of that sort of thing. I think that GTA doesn't really hold a candle to that in that respect.
Interesting opinion for certain. Anyway, let's move on. Dan, you mentioned earlier about playing Spider-Man in VR. One of the games that I sort of noticed when I was doing some research is they're releasing an Iron Man VR game.
Oh, mate.
Cool.
So it's going to be, I don't know whether it's a PlayStation exclusive. Well, it must be, I guess, if it's VR. It's been released on the 3rd of July. I had a little look at photos and some sort of early gameplay. It looks quite fun. The graphics looks decent. But yeah, so I just copied and pasted the little... this was on the PS5 website. So the story of the game is Tony Stark has retired from making weapons and instead creates technology used to battle evil as Iron Man. After several years as a world-famous superhero, Tony is attacked by the mysterious Ghost, a hacker and anti-corporate activist who repurposes old Stark Industries weapons. In her efforts to topple his empire, Ghost attacks Stark's corporate locations around the world, leading to ever-escalating stakes and a final showdown. But would something like that, Iron Man VR, would that appeal to you? Is this just aimed at kids? Like, what are your thoughts?
Fuck no. I want to fly around in a suit, boy. God damn.
I'm exactly the same.
I saw one thing, he was flying around shooting at stuff, and you just like shooting stuff out of your hand, obviously, as Iron Man does, just like beams of like whatever. But it did look pretty cool, I must admit.
I'd have a chub the entire time.
I think if it was literally just Iron Man, then I'd be pretty bored pretty quick. But if there were other characters in the game that you can interact with at some point, like Hulk, like Captain America, Spider-Man, blah blah blah, so on and so forth, that would be sick.
Yeah, I didn't look into it that much.
Stunted at the moment, isn't it? There's not like even the Spider-Man games is like they're fun, but like you said, you can only play them for a short amount of time. There's not a lot to VR.
It's very
from
limited.
the PlayStation side of things, yeah, at the moment. But obviously, that's where everything's going eventually. You're gonna want to fully immerse yourself in a game.
Yeah, until there's full
Like
immersion.
the film gamer.
So another game that I wanted to mention as well. EA are releasing a new Star Wars game. Obviously, they made the new Battlefront and Battlefront 2.
Crap Star Wars game. Woohoo!
Well, hang on, you haven't given it a chance yet. So it's being released on the 2nd of October. It's called Star Wars Squadrons. So it's going to be space combat. So you're going to be able to fly all the sort of, spaceships that you see in Star Wars and the games, the X-Fighters and the TIE Fighters and stuff. It's going to have a single player and online. It is mainly multiplayer focused, but it's going to have a single player campaign as well. There's going to be a gameplay reveal that EA are having a live event on Thursday actually. That they're going to release some gameplay of it on. And one of the things I noticed as well, it said there's not going to be any loot boxes or loot stuff. Apparently, I didn't play it, but apparently Battlefront 2 had a lot of problems with that sort of stuff.
Oh mate,
Yeah,
beyond the joke at the start, innit?
I refused to download it, so...
Yeah, I had the original, like, the new Battlefront, like Battlefront 1, and I hated it. I thought it was awful.
Battlefront 2 got boycotted. When was the last time a game got boycotted by a community? Honestly. That's how you know they really fucked up. So that's when, like, I know every game does it nowadays with the, the in-game transactions and stuff. But EA is just so well known for being money-grubbing bastards.
Hold on a minute. You look at Modern Warfare this year, yeah. They did away with all the microtransactions on the level that they had it before, because Black Ops 4 was literally pay to win.
Yeah.
It was,
and look how well that game's done this year.
Mate, hopefully games follow suit, because there's no way to push people away when you can literally do stuff.
For instance, can I just make a comparison here, right? A looting game, or if you're going to have some element of looting in a game, right, that's not based around microtransactions, it needs to be like Destiny, where there's a grind to it to get those mad good items.
Well, that's
Destiny is flawed, but that is what Destiny is good at.
Well, it's good.
I'm all for aesthetics in like aesthetics. If you can buy to make your guns cooler, that's down to the person if they want to spend that extra money to get some cooler shit like that. But like when it's paid to play, it's turds.
I was just going to say it's a good thing you mentioned that, Freeman, because along with the thing as well, it says EA have learned their lessons from Battlefront 2. It says there's going to be extensive customization in the game, but it's all going to be earned through gameplay as opposed to microtransactions. But one thing I noticed as well is, like I said, it's going to be mainly multiplayer focused, but it is going to be cross-platform online.
I think it could. It's got viability if it ends up going down the route that Modern Warfare have in terms of like giving like free DLC or having it as part of a season pass and not having like ridiculous loot bundles that you can buy for like X amount of money. Then yeah, it could have. Well,
I think with the problems that EA have had in the past, it'll be interesting to see how they approach cross-platform.
And also, can I just say, they don't need any more microtransactions. The amount of money they've robbed out of my bank account over the years on Ultimate Team, so they can piss right off.
So yeah, that to be fair, graphically and everything, it does look awesome. So it'd be interesting to see some gameplay of that game for sure. Another game that I wanted to mention as well, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Coming out December this year. I must admit I'm not a fan of Assassin's Creed. I played the first two and it bored the living tears out of me.
But I think it's another one of those games where they are just literally clutching at straws for any new idea they can get their hands on to try and make some money. It's the same every single time.
I'm not going to lie. The most recent one, Odyssey, the Greek one, that has probably got to be the best Assassin's Creed I've played.
Really?
Yeah, because they've completely changed it I don't know what it is, but they've added in like a sort of looting system. So you've got different armors and weapons and stuff, and yeah, they just the way that they've done it is just so much better than what the previous.
They had that on Origins.
Yeah, so I think they learned from Origins what they did wrong, and they've improved it.
You say the most recent one is Greek. I thought it was Egypt.
No, that was the Origins one, the one before.
Oh, okay. I had the first two. I had the one, I can't remember what it was, the one that was like set in the French Revolution.
Brotherhood.
Yeah, I think I had that one as well.
See, I thought that one was quite good actually.
It was okay, but
I didn't mind it.
My problem with Assassin's Creed games is just rinse, repeat.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
It just turned me off.
Year. Agreed. I'm completely on your side with this one.
And I get it. You know, people will say the same thing about all sorts of games. You know, like FIFA, COD. You know, it's just the same thing every year. But again, like I played the first Assassin's Creed. You go to a new area, you climb the tower so you can see it on the map. You do a couple of things, and then you move on to the next area. You climb a tower, and all that. It's just like, all I'm going to be doing is climbing towers, like then I'll just
and then jumping off it into a haystack.
So yeah, they've changed that.
Doing it again and again.
So just for these synchronization spots, that's just to get a fast travel. So to clear the map, to be able to see where you're going on the map, you have to actually go to those places rather than jump up onto a massive building and press Y or triangle, whatever it is you're playing. But I'm really looking forward to the next one. To be fair,
well, it's a good concept because I like the story of Assassin's Creed. You know, the whole what's his face? Is it Ezio, whatever?
On the second one, yeah.
But I like the whole, you know, concept and the story and everything and behind that. And this one, again, well, like I was saying, you know, I appreciate the fact they've gone out to like Egypt, Greece, and they're changing it up a bit. This one does sound quite cool. The fact you're going to be like a Viking. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then so yeah, going to be attacking, and one of the notable things as well is you're going to be attacking England.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But there's again, limited gameplay and everything at the moment for this. There's a Ubisoft event on the 12th of July that supposedly they're going to be revealing more gameplay at. One thing I did note though, there doesn't seem to be a lot of sort of pre-order stuff surrounding it at the moment, although it is listed on the Ubisoft store at £60.
I just hope that's not the prices of games moving forward.
Well, I've seen a few.
They always got by a tenner each year, isn't it? It used to be $39.99.
Games are going to be like that because I'm not being funny, but look at games now.
I'm trying to think. There was a game I was looking at the other day that I was. Oh, it was the new F1 game I was going to pre-order, and I'm pretty sure that was listed at £60. And I was just like, yeah, I hope games don't sort of. That's the new trend. That games become sort of £60.
They will, yeah. They got to buy a tenner each year, didn't they?
It's a lot of money.
That's how it's worked.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of money, and you want return out of it.
That's it. If you don't get it, then you feel just
get
like
return
you're doing.
by paying in game for extra things. That's how you get it.
Could I just say as well? We were talking about looting. One loot system that I really did like in a game was the Division.
Yes.
The original Division.
I played Division 2. Absolutely shockingly bad considering. I thought they could have done so much more with that game.
Well, I thought they could have done a lot more with the original. I mean,
well,
I really liked the original.
Into that as a group.
Yeah, I really liked the original. But when it ended, I was just sort of like, oh, is that it? Do you know what I mean?
The problem is that we rinsed it so much that it got boring. And then when we left sort of like playing the Division for a long period of time, they added loads of stuff.
Yeah.
And we never really picked it back up again.
I think the same could be said about the exact same about Red Dead 2. Red Dead 2, great game. I've only actually not long finished playing the campaign.
Never even got close to finishing that campaign.
It's one of the best stories.
Yeah, it's really good, but you have to put a lot of time into it. But again, the online, I was sort of really looking forward to that, and the concept is good. You know, you and your mates, a bunch of cowboys, and just like rolling around, doing stuff. But when it was first released, the online was
just nothing.
Stupid.
Nothing to do,
It was
yeah.
like
They
two.
bullshitted everybody with that game when that came out because they said the online experience was going to be one of the best you could get. Get onto the online and it was shockingly bad. They said they were going to be updating it regularly. It was 6 months, I think, wasn't it, until the first update.
But
Or something stupid.
apparently, there's a lot more to the online now. But obviously, it's just a dick game, really now, isn't
To be
it?
fair, that might be worth a revisit. I haven't been on Red Dead. Like I completed it within like a week and a bit. I proper heard the game. But
Cool.
then after that, just dropped off. But then,
Yeah.
to be fair, nowadays, knowing Rockstar, they have probably added an absolute shitload that we just haven't heard of. Just
Yeah.
like they do with
I-
the GTA. So it might be worth a revisit.
Yeah, but the
you
problem
know.
is with that, Dan, is that they shouldn't have given out empty promises from the start when they released the game in the first place, because I think that's probably the reason why a lot of people haven't gone back and revisited it, is because they were so butthurt about the fact that they had nothing to do online with their friends when the game came out, and it took them 6 months to do anything about it. And even then, the update was literally non-existent. There was hardly anything added.
Yeah, the
But
few
it's
Yeah,
just
missions.
got it's
fair.
got 2-3 years down the cycle now, where people are probably just like Red Dead 2. What's that?
To be fair, yeah, a game that takes 10 years to make, you're probably you want to hash out the multiplayer on release as well. You don't want to start working on that once you release the game.
Yeah, but then
Exactly
what was
what
it?
it's like.
GTA 5 struggled with online. It didn't have online to start with.
Yeah, but
It was
don't
all the
forget,
same,
don't
yeah.
forget
It's
though,
not an
mate,
excuse,
is
though.
GTA is also a very well-established game for a number of years with a big
Yeah.
player base. Red Dead
So
had
is
a
Red
big
Dead,
player
though.
base and it had one game before that.
2.
Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah, that was
That
the
was it.
original, and then Red Dead Redemption 1
Oh.
was the sequel to that.
Okay, fair enough. Didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, to be fair.
I take that.
Yeah,
back.
Red Dead. I think Red Dead Revolver was on the original Xbox.
Yeah, that was a sick game.
Never played it, to be fair, but I knew of its existence. Okay, so we talked about Valhalla. Just a couple of other things as well. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster
Yes.
coming out
yes.
in coming out
I'm
in
not on it,
September
boys.
apparently. No,
Mate,
What
if they
is
met
wrong
like
with you?
no, listen, hear me out, listen.
hear it out.
Hear me out, Ruben. Because like I am all for, and I fucking love the skateboarding games. Like all the skates, all the Tony Hawks. That's from PS2 onwards. That is literally just it. But why have they taken Tony Hawk Pro Skater? And yeah, the graphics are insane on the new one. That look like when I was watching the trailers and stuff. But why have they used the same physics? That janky old
Agreed.
school fucked up, where you're flying through the air and then all of a sudden you land on a rail perfectly and you're just gliding like on ice. It looks shit. Like, why didn't they take their time and effort instead of half-assing the game and just revamping it?
Fucking
Yeah, we
time
all
and
love the
effort. Dan, the last one
Mate.
came out about 15 years ago.
But that's what I mean. You've had enough fucking time, innit? You go, all right, we're gonna make a new Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Let's not. Okay, what we gonna do? Let's just up the graphics. Yeah, that'll do it. No, it's a cheap they need it. They have since Skate 3. What's been the skateboarding game? There ain't one.
Everyone's
They
been
could've-
crying
they could've
out
made-
for a Skate 4. To be fair,
I
Mate,
don't know why,
imagine.
'cause that game died after Skate 2, in my opinion.
I'm not gonna lie, Dan. I mainly included that because I thought you would be the one that was all over it.
No, because I'm disappointed with it. Because I'm proper all for a new skate game, but not one where they've turned up the lighting.
To be fair, they should.
It's a
they
fucking
should, they should have
Instagram
made
filter
some
over
effort. Yeah, they should have made some effort and actually created a new game rather than just remastering something.
I guess it's just nostalgia. If they've seen other people doing it
I-
and thought,
I
because there's
personally
not
think
really
like- Go on.
Well, I was just gonna say because, like we just said, there's not really a skating game out there now for nostalgia purposes and jumping on the bandwagon almost. Like, oh yeah, let's remaster these, and everyone just be like, oh yeah, these were so good. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, nostalgia's fucking overrated anyway. I used to, as a fucking kid when Tony Hawk Pro Skater was out, I used to dig holes in the garden. My entertainment value was very low. So nowadays, when they
Still
just
is.
create a new game, yeah, mate, it's just not the same. It's not the same.
I
You
don't
need to do something
understand
a bit
that
different.
why they haven't in 15 years. What they should have done with this is maybe released a new Tony Hawk Pro Skater and maybe had some level of like a single player career mode style. You start off as a kid, like trying to
Anything.
break
Oh, mate,
through
that
into
sounds
the skating
boss.
scene.
Oi!
Like
Mate, write
you
a
have to
letter.
learn. You have to learn your tricks.
Write a letter.
Having in there is like just controller based things like like Street Fighter. You have like combos and stuff that you put together and stuff, and you do crazy shit. Instead of having it like that, you have to learn specific moves to be able to use them in like competitions and stuff and work it up.
Fuck yeah.
Almost a little
Yeah,
bit like the
about it a
journey,
lot.
like you know the FIFA did the journey, a little bit like that, but skating. That'd be sick.
Yeah,
That would actually be sick. I might actually write him a letter. That is sick.
I think that is an idea plenty of people could get behind, to be fair.
Mate, everybody's screaming out for a new skateboarding game. You look anywhere, and it's I'm gonna bring it up now, but who, Fight Night Champion. Anyone else been a big advocate of that?
Yes,
Fight
mate.
Night?
Boxing.
Yes.
Anyone waiting for a new one of that? Oh
Yes.
my days, how long it been, boy?
I know, and mate, I cannot wait. Is it an exclusive? Or is that on Xbox as well?
No, mate, they haven't announced anything. That's what I'm saying, though. Like,
No, they
'cause
have.
these
They
games-
are. I'm pretty sure they are
No, they
going to
have.
make a
They
new
have.
Fight Night
There's a
game.
new one coming out.
Nah,
Mate, I'm gonna find it now.
what?
I'm gonna find it now. I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Right, well, let's move on from Tony Hawk, because we've obviously touched a nerve or two. One more PlayStation exclusive, Last of Us 2, being released on Friday. I was reading one thing earlier. They've been very secretive with what they've sort of released thus far, in terms of storylines, and also to critics, like in terms of early access and early gameplay. Apparently, no one's touched the last 12 hours of the story. So they're keeping it very, because they don't want spoilers or anything like that. But that seems overly protective. But I see one person I reported, they reckon they dubbed the original Last of Us the greatest game of all time, with the most perfect ending of a game of all time.
Mate, you can't mirror that.
I haven't
Well,
got
that's the
anything
thing. A
to
lot of
say,
people
It's-
were
it's
saying
there,
that.
but
A lot of
Sorry,
people
okay.
were saying that Last of Us 2, for those reasons, is a dangerous move.
What were you talking
Oh,
about?
what?
Because I never
Trying to
actually
recreate
played
that?
The Last of Us.
No, I've never
Oh,
played
mate,
it,
it's
but I've
so
heard
worth it,
it's unbelievable.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah,
just to reiterate, by the way, Dan, it's not actually been announced, but Eddie Hearn dropped a spoiler to say that Fight Night Champion 2 is potentially coming out on next gen, with a whole new roster of
Jeez.
boxers, as well as old ones as well. Just to let you know. Sorry,
That is good
carry
news.
on.
But yeah.
No, Last of Us, isn't it? Just Last of Us. Great game. Great game. If you haven't played it, play it. If you don't want to play it, change your mind and play it. That's what,
All right, nice one. Cheers, mate.
Um,
that's the way. That's the way to
You've
look
really
at Last
sold
of Us.
it.
No, mate. Have you seen the gameplay? Have you seen?
Mate,
This
I
was
don't
back
even
in.
know what the
this was
game's
back in
about.
last year. Oh, it's zombies and that, but like a mixture of.
Oh,
it's like
mate, that's another
post-apocalyptic.
one that's just been copy and
No,
pasted
no,
into
no,
so
no,
many
no,
different
no,
fucking
no,
games.
No, listen, Linda, listen. No, honestly, it will change your
Linda?
life. Honestly, I'm a sucker for a good storyline. That's why I think the GTA's are up there, the Red Dead's, the Gods of War, the Last of Us, because old school Halos, they kept you captured. But nowadays,
LA Noire.
no, I don't know. LA Noire, boy, sick game.
That was a sick
Heavy Rain, sick game. There's loads of these absolute beasts out there. But yeah, I know competitive market drives us, but Last of Us is going to be.
I just feel like that's been done too many times by too many different
No,
Play
but
it, lad.
From what,
Play it, lad.
companies.
yeah, from what
Change
I've
life.
heard,
They've done it differently.
it is worth investing time to play that game.
Potentially.
I should probably.
I'll have to have a
PlayStation
look at it.
in.
But it is an
And actually
exclusive, so you
finish
have to
it.
buy a PlayStation.
Oh yeah, I'm not buying a PlayStation just to experience that.
Or maybe watch
No, I
watch a playthrough on YouTube or something.
Not
Possibly. Do you know
Gotta
what?
buy a
I miss
PlayStation, bro.
I miss Left 4 Dead. That
Oh.
game was sick.
Who? I did.
Huh?
You cut out then.
Sorry, Left 4 Dead.
Never played it.
Oh boy,
That was
Great game.
good.
that
very
game was
good.
sick. It was just so basic. It was literally a case of here's a mission. There's a shit ton of zombies in your way. Kill them all.
Well, it's
It's
just
nice
point
and
A to
simple,
point B.
straight to the point. You knew what you had to do.
I bet you fucking love Tetris, don't you?
Oh mate, I love Tetris. Don't even get me started on Tetris. Like, I could play that for hours. That's the kind of
Yeah.
miserable, boring sod that I actually am.
God's sake. Right, the final game that I wanted to talk about, we'll just talk about it briefly. Considering we only wanted these to be 15-minute discussions, we'd be going for over an hour now.
Yeah, fuck.
I knew this would happen,
Yeah,
but
it's better content,
it's certainly
isn't it?
not a bad thing.
Yeah,
The last...
whoever listened to this far is in this far, then I'll
Absolute
salute you.
G. And if you haven't followed us on Twitter, then yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
burn
gonna
in
go
hell.
there.
I
If
mean-
you've listened this far, in the
Yeah.
comments put the word hero, because that's
Hero.
what you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, last game that I wanted to talk about before we sort of finish up. obviously the new season has just come out on Call of Duty. Everybody's thoughts? How are we finding it? Are we enjoying it?
Love it. I know I've only played it for a day, but I love it. The guns are sick.
Yet to unlock the new
Job
guns,
done.
to be fair. But you've got them both, haven't you, Freeman?
Yeah, I'm just going to say this now to anyone who might be listening to this at some point. God help you. If you aren't using the CR56 AMAX, you are doing something wrong with your life. There you go. You heard it here first. You'll become 10 times better at Call of Duty than you ever thought you would. If you're shit, use that gun and you won't be shit anymore.
And this is coming from a notorious.
This is coming from me, who is shit. I have a KD ratio of under 0.8, so that will tell you everything you need to know.
You were coming above me in the leaderboards, on some
Exactly.
games, which is
Okay.
unseen.
So general consensus is the new season is good.
I just think this COD's good altogether. To be honest, I think they've done it well this year.
I'm gonna pose one more question then, because I know this will be divisive. How do we feel about Warzone?
Love it.
Dale's a big fan. Luke, less so.
Yeah, not a fan. Worst
Why?
battle royale out there. Oh no, PUBG
Oh,
PUBG is the worst
No,
battle
I
royale.
cannot believe you've actually just said that.
PUBG's
Do you know
worst
what?
battle royale. I think Apex is the best. I like
PUBG's
Apex
the
too much.
worst. Then Fortnite's the second worst. Then H1Z1, if you play it on PC, is the third worst.
Never played it.
And then I'd probably go as far as saying Apex. I'm not even going to count the shitty one in Black Ops 4 because that's irrelevant now. Yeah, I'd probably say Apex and Warzone are probably up there for me as equal. I don't
So
like
I was
either
never-
one more than the other.
I was never
PUBG's a great
into. I was never into battle royale games. I didn't like Fortnite. Played a few games of it. Couldn't get into it at all. Played one game of PUBG and won, so put that down. So, yeah, but Warzone's the first battle royale that I've really got into, and I was hesitant to play it, but everyone was jumping on it, so I thought, well, you know, if everyone's jumping on it, then I'll just have a go at it, and I just got addicted, and I just couldn't stop playing it.
I think the difference is that they've done stuff that other battle royals don't. I feel like other battle royales, there's not really much to it. It's pick up a gun, get some attachments, fire it at someone, hope you come first, job done, game after game. Whereas on COD, there's more people, there's vehicles that can kill you, there's you can fall off buildings and it can kill you. You've got the gulag, so you can respawn. You've got the new jailbreak system in place on Warzone where people come back alive just because the game says they do, and other things like that. It doesn't really get that boring. There's so much different things, and every game's different.
Yeah.
Whereas the problem with Apex is you don't take any fall damage. You can do some stupid movement stuff if you're playing on PC that I've never seen on any other game, to the point where, like, if that was like cross compatible and you had PC and Xbox playing with each other, Xbox is at a serious disadvantage. Probably the same for most others as well, to be fair.
Dan, your thoughts? You haven't really said much on it.
I don't really like Warzone. I don't like the new CODs. Like my start was the
That's
Call of
because you're
Duty
bad
4.
at them.
No, yeah, but that's that's only a short bit of it.
Yeah,
There's a
mate,
lot
to
of
be
things
fair,
that just
we're all
generally
going to
don't
get
like the
worse
games,
eventually because your hand-eye coordination starts to dwindle as you get older. I mean, we are pushing 30, so, you know...
Speak for yourself.
Well, we are. We're kind of all above that threshold of 25 now.
I'm not.
Well, apart from Jamie. We are kind of, like, looking towards, like, retirement and shit.
I don't
Still
think
a
that's
worse
going to have
start
an
singing,
issue. Look at
I'm just looking forward to death.
Wow. And on that note, oh no,
thanks.
actually,
Tune in next week.
that's not the last
Next week
thing.
for a live hanging of Dale.
I've just seen this at the bottom. I've just seen this at the bottom. Luke, you've been fairly quiet this evening. I'm handing the reins over to you because this was your idea. Halo Infinite.
Yeah. So I was doing some research earlier today, actually, seeing what sort of exclusives were out there for the Xbox Series X, and apparently they released a trailer E3 2019 of the next Halo, which I must have missed.
I didn't even know about it myself.
No, yeah, Halo
And
Infinite.
I'm a massive Halo fan.
How does it look?
It looks like Halo. It's a really short cutscene, so it wasn't really. There's no gameplay or anything. It was just Master Chief was.
Is it Master Chief floating through space again?
Yeah, it was.
What a fucking surprise! Fucking more Halo rings to fucking shove up his ass. Fuck off, Master Chief.
But yeah, it's Sky, this Marine.
You're not a fan then, Dan?
Mate, they shit it. They shit the bed. Microsoft are renowned now. I don't know. I'm not okay.
I think it's ever since Bungie have been chucked off of Halo. I think.
I mean, Xbox's exclusives in general have fallen off a cliff. To be fair, it's not even just Halo.
Forza Horizon is still up there.
Alright, yeah, Forza, yeah, it's got a good shelf life because there's a lot of different stuff you can do and it's quite fun to play online. And
I'm not talking about the the original Forza games.
Yeah, the Horizon ones, yeah.
Although saying it, Halo's not really the sort of game I would normally play, but the first one I played was Halo 3, and I've had all of the, in the main story, I haven't played Halo Wars or anything like that, but I've had Halo 3, 4 and 5, and I will get them when they come out without question. I don't know what it is.
You need to go back and revisit Halo 1 and 2 then, mate, because you're missing out, because Halo 1 is the best Halo game they've ever released. I don't care what anyone says. Fight me if you don't agree with me, fight me.
Luke?
I won't find your small ass.
I'll beat your ass down.
My favourite's always been the third one, to be honest. That's the first one I've played, but I've played the first and second one, but the third one...
I think probably the same for me, because that's the one that drew me in.
I think Halo 3 was good, don't get me wrong, but if you haven't played the first one, please go back and try and find a way of playing it, because I tell you now, it will change your experience of Halo completely.
I'm pretty sure you can play the first Halo on Xbox One. I'm pretty sure it's Xbox Game Pass or Games for Gold or something.
Yeah, they remastered it. The Master Chief Collection. So they remastered the first and second one, and it's on there.
Mate, name a notable Xbox exclusive other than the ones they started with.
Sunset.
What, as in not Halo or Gears?
Sunset Overdrive.
Silence speaks 1,000 words.
That was literally the first one that came to my head.
Have you guys even played it?
No. I saw an advert for it and thought that looked awful.
I played it for about a minute and a half, and I genuinely turned my Xbox off and didn't play it for a few days afterwards.
It's not that bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's not that bad. Give it a chance. It's actually
but you don't want an Xbox exclusive to just be not that bad. When you've got Spider-Man's, Gods of War, fucking Last of Us, you know.
I mean, wasn't that what was that game that was set in Roman times? Was that not an Xbox exclusive that everyone was talking about?
Oh yeah, Rise.
Rise.
Yeah. That was an Xbox exclusive, right? And it looked so fucking good. I bought the game and I completed it within literally 6 hours, and then I never went on it again.
It's
hard to press buttons when they pop up.
For what it is, I think it was a good game.
It did have multiplayer, which I'm assuming you didn't play.
But I played the multiplayer. And I didn't find the multiplayer was that good.
It's co-op, isn't it? Because you can't have time, whatever that kind of system's called, when you're against each other, can you? Really?
No, not really.
I think it was you just co-op against AI in the Gladiator thing.
But I just thought the game was so short for something that was in the development for 2 years or whatever it was that they spent on it, and it was the shortest campaign game I think I've ever played.
I think that we've probably got plenty here really to put out the first podcast. I mean, hour and 15 we've been going for.
Yeah, come back next week and Dan will talk about his drug addiction.
Well, no, I didn't want to leave it there. So I think to end the show, it'd be quite good in future. If we get maybe listeners to sort of
phone
text, no, not phone in, whether it's tweet us or however you want to reach us, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Submit maybe topics for us to talk about, or even questions for us to answer. So I'm going to start a trend now, just sort of a final sort of end of the show thing. We talked about it earlier. GTA 5, obviously, I posed a question, greatest game of all time. But I'm going to ask each of you, what is your favourite game of all time and why? So let's go. Luke, I'm going to ask you first. What is your favourite game of all time and why?
Jesus. Need some time to think about this, I think. God.
All right.
I
Is
don't
anyone?
need any time. I can tell you straight away.
Go on then, Dale. You go first.
Need for Speed Underground 2 on GameCube. Don't even argue with me. Best game
GameCube?
ever.
On GameCube. Interesting.
Sickest game ever.
Why is it your favourite game?
The soundtracks, the cars, the drifting functionality on it. I just thought it was the best driving game you could ever play. And I even actually would say that is on par with the rest of the Need for Speeds up until the end of Carbon.
Yeah,
up
I
until
think
that point, when Carbon ended and the new one come out, they turned to shit.
Yeah, I agree. I think Carbon was the last good one that they made.
So I think, in fact, it's not just one game. I just say it's a series of games from Need for Speed Underground 2 all the way through to Need for Speed Carbon. Best games ever.
Not the original Underground.
No, I didn't like that. Wasn't a fan.
Okay. Well, yeah,
I just have like flashbacks every now and then of to the window, to the wall.
Yeah,
Just gets me every time.
I loved on Underground 2. You could just like start out with like a Corsa and stuff.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and I mean, you know what I'm like when it comes to cars. That's like my perfect opportunity. Like, give me a Volkswagen Golf, and I'll just do it up to the nines and beat a Lamborghini. Like, happily, thanks very much.
I think it was. I loved Underground. I loved the original, but I think Underground 2 was a big step up. Like the fact it was the first one that was sort of like open world. I think.
Yeah,
was
and I think it was
thing.
also the soundtracks as well. The songs that they had on that game were so
The,
good.
to be fair, the soundtrack for the original was pretty good as well. Well, that's
But I
To the
think-
Window to the Wall. That was on the original.
Was it actually? I didn't really
Yeah.
play much of the original, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
know.
All right, solid answer. Dan?
It's got to be Elder Scrolls Oblivion, boy.
Oblivion. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great
That
game.
started it, innit? That was like
Cool.
That was like the main. They got me into like RPGs fully, I reckon. And like ever since then, I'm always gonna be Elder Scrolls. Like, got Skyrim straight away. That was sick. You know, just an all-round game, innit? It's just sick, and they just progressively get better. They just keep you engrossed, and you're free to do whatever you want, mate. There's dragons and that flying about in the new one. You get to shoot fireballs out. It's sick. Other than that, it's got to be like FIFA Street or something. It's like bring me the most joy.
Oh yes, Dan. Actually,
Oh,
I
mate.
changed my answer.
No,
FIFA Street's sick, mate. Honestly, you take like playing your mates on that.
I mean,
That's just hours there.
Dan, you'll probably agree with me on this. That was one of those games where the mechanics of the game was so bad, they were so good.
Yeah, mate. But just like because you could just embarrass your
worked.
friends like beyond.
And that was
belief,
another
then
thing
just-
as well with soundtracks that make a game.
Yeah.
When you have
That's one of the
Dizzy
best
Rascal
soundtracks there.
sitting there while you're in like a little street court doing rainbow flicks over Ronaldinho's head and then blasting the ball top bins past Gianluigi Buffon, you know you're in a good place.
I remember you just like used to build a perfect team, and then you just have fucking Yakubu rocking up top.
Yakubu.
Yeah.
Absolute boss.
and then you buy FIFA 20 and you get shitty Volta that you can't even play with your mates. What a
Oh,
joke that
mate.
is.
Yeah,
That is a sorry excuse for FIFA Street, you know.
I touched Volta briefly. It's alright for like 10-15 minutes, and then it's just like.
Yeah, but it's like the journey. The journey was alright for 10-15 minutes and it got
I
boring.
played through the first journey.
I played
can't
through it
remember.
just to get the card in Ultimate Team and then they got the card and I was like, this is shit.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I just need to come up with this shout that Yeti Luke had suggested. So any of you that have played the NBA 2Ks, like NBA 2K20, take that concept where you have outdoor courts, like a playground area where loads of people meet up and
we
play.
talked about
Oh,
this
take
on
that
Xbox
to
a few
FIFA
months ago,
Street.
didn't we?
Yeah, where you've got like individual like five-a-side courts where you just rock up with your player, you stand on like a spot with like got next, and then you play against people around the world on like in like a street court environment. Now
Yeah,
that
but-
is a fucking game.
But
That
not
needs
not
to be
this
created.
not this Volta shit. Not that sort of
No.
style of game. Back to FIFA Street where it was you skilled a player up, they were on the floor, broken ankles, crying, and then you
Yeah.
just game break at them.
What? It sounds like you're talking about red card football, mate. Back in PlayStation days. Jesus
it
Christ.
pretty much was.
Now that
pretty
was
much
Well, you
was.
could
that
you
was
could
a
2 fit
game.
people.
Yeah, just break them.
Interesting. So we've
Can't
got
see a
Need for.
basketball game being good. Jesus
Dale's
Christ.
choking on his vape. So
What
we've
I
got.
was gonna say is,
Go on.
I can't imagine a basketball game being good if you could just run up and 2-foot someone.
That'd be quite funny, to be fair.
It would be jokes.
I'd be all about that.
Just run up to Giannis and just bang, see you later, mate. Broken.
But if you are into the NBA 2K games, check out the Twitter page because we've got an Unreal clip on there. Oh mate, I've been doing this long enough. I know how to plug. Don't you worry. So we've got the Need for Speed series at Slightly Good Gamers. So we've got the Need for Speed series. We've got Oblivion. FIFA Street was an honourable mention. Luke, I'm turning back to you.
So yeah, I've had a thought about it. I'm gonna have to go all nostalgic on this. I'm gonna have to say Sonic the Hedgehog. Just
Sonic
because it's the first ever game I remember ever playing.
I like
and
that.
just remembering it.
I mean, I don't agree with you on that because I think the game's shit. But if it's the first game you ever played, fair play.
First game I ever played for that sort of time on the Sega Mega Drive. One more.
Oh, back on the Sega Mega Drive. Jesus Christ! Never actually played one of them. The first console I ever played was Super Nintendo.
Nice. So I've got I've been thinking about it while you lot are talking, and I've 4 games that come to mind. I'm going to choose one, but I want to give some honourable mentions. So the first honourable mention, Mario Kart 64.
Lad.
Absolute hours lost on that. I remember playing with my mum, playing with my nan, all sorts. Like, it was just unbelievable. Just the amount of hours I lost in that. Brilliant. Don't make me spill information on here that you wouldn't want on the internet.
I'm sorry. Cut that out. The final edit done.
Nope.
So yeah, Mario Kart 64. SmackDown vs Raw 2007.
Sick game.
Unreal.
Sick game.
Unreal game. Unreal
Can you
roster.
remind me, Jamie? Was that the first one where you could go and do like a backyard brawl, whatever it was called?
I
and, like,
can't remember for the life of me. No, it's not the first one you could do special matches, but yes, Unreal game, proper nostalgia, and as well mainly Unreal soundtrack. The WWE games normally do have pretty good soundtracks. No, trust me.
I can't even remember it, boy.
Yeah, no, trust me. If you heard some of the songs, you'd be like, oh yeah, mate, absolute tunes. The WWE games in general do have good soundtracks, but yeah, that one for me stuck out. Another honourable mention, Modern Warfare 2. Probably my favourite COD game ever. It's probably the one that I was best at as well, but again, the amount of hours lost in it. Yeah, just the best one I think that there's ever been. But we touched on it briefly earlier. I think my favourite game of all time probably is GTA 4. For reasons that we discussed earlier,
It's a fair shout.
The amount of hours we spent on it, I think the online element. I mean, there's a great story of Nico Bellic, of course. But again, the amount of hours we pumped into it as friends, just coming up with endless games that we can play, races, the amount of laughs. Like, I can't tell you the amount of headaches that I got from laughing so much. And even my parents still talk about it to this day. Like, oh, I remember you playing like Grand Theft Auto and just doing all this stuff. But yeah, I just think it's
it was so good.
Yeah, for those reasons.
Can we also pay homage as well and say that GTA 4, you can tell it was a good game. They created the Sidemen, who are now multi-millionaires. So that just goes to show how good a game that actually was.
Like, I loved that game. I knew the map like the back of my hand. I knew that map inside out.
Is that the bit where the top bit of the map behind the little barn, you had that really fast rallying car?
Yeah, the Sultan.
Yeah,
Sultan
that was
RS.
so sick. That was so sick. Doing the little race from the top to the bottom and the back
we would
again.
race across the map because the map was sort of split in two, like sort of two islands, and you'd start at the airport. You'd work all the way up to the top bit where the Sultan was, and whoever got there first would always get in the Sultan, regardless of what car they had. And then you drive all the way to the other end of the map, and then back to the airport, and just I can't even, I've tried, but I can't even put into words just how much I love that game. It was unbelievable.
That was the one where we used to do the little game at the airport, wasn't it, with the attack helicopters, and you had
triangle
2 or 3 triangle game. Yeah, that was so sick.
and just like little things like there was. I remember there's sort of ramp coming off the freeway, and right at the bottom of it, there was like another little ramp going up, and you just get people stood on the ramp. It was like human bowling, basically. Get people stood on the ramp, and
I'll
then
tell you
someone.
what it was like, actually. Have you ever played Skate 2, where you like throw yourself off your skateboard on a ramp, and you've got to try and break as many bones in your body as is humanly possible? That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, just get someone like half a mile back from the ramp, growing as fast as they can come down the ramp, and then just take out as many people as possible. And then the swing glitch as well. You just send your car flying across the map. Yeah, just unbelievable.
That's so sick.
Yeah, that's some good answers and a good range there, I would say. But yeah, I think that just about wraps it up from all of us. It's been a really good first podcast, actually. It's gone a lot better than I thought it would. A lot longer than I think we thought it would as well. But one that I've really enjoyed. So, boys, I want to thank you for your input this evening and your participation.
No problem. I can't guarantee that I'm going to be here next week. I probably would have topped myself by then. So
excellent. Well, we look forward to that. But yeah, I think that just about wraps it up. So from us, I'm going to say from us at SGG, but you know, we're not like, it's not we're at headquarters or whatever, even though...
Yeah, we are. We're a conglomeration, mate.
But follow us on Twitter at Slightly Good Gamers. We've got Instagram as well, Facebook. We have a YouTube channel that we are uploading regularly too. So, yeah, come and check those out. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys soon. That was pathetic.